and really only a few minutes. In some ways, asking you to come was a little bit misleading, because it reminds me more than a bit of the presidential primary debate years ago in New Hampshire, when Ronald Reagan and a bunch of other people were fighting over the microphones. And Reagan said, "I'm going to talk. I paid for this microphone, and I have some things to say." And after several decades of intimate contact with this school system and these administrators and these teachers, right now is more for me than it is for you, because I have some things that I want to say to you. Our family has been intimately involved with this school district covering 4 decades. And we have entrusted the education of our children to Forest Hill Central's teachers and administrators. We have entrusted them to you for all those same decades. Entrusted our children to your care, entrusted our hopes and our dreams for them to you, for you to nurture and develop every single day. And we entrusted them to you against an ever-changing backdrop. The canvas behind all of this was painted differently all through that period. You taught them in good economic times, and you taught them in bad economic times, and during the anxiety of millage campaigns, and after school finance in this state was turned upside down, and in the face of threats of pink slips, and in the face of criticisms of public schools, and sometimes criticisms of public school teachers, sometimes even as a political issue. You were their teachers during and after the period of financial collapse in this country and in this state, when there was reduced spending per student, when some of the teachers bought supplies for their students out of their own pockets. You taught them when the buildings were overcrowded, when the facilities were under construction. You taught them when the football team always won. You taught them when the football team never won. You taught them when this school system was in the shadow of the East Grand Rapids Public Schools. And you have taught them when this has emerged as perhaps the finest academic school system in the entire state. I first came out here in the mid-1970s, and I had gone to a Jesuit high school, and I had an Ivy League law degree. And I was asked to be the first coach of the first hockey team out here. And I came out to meet with the superintendent of schools. And the Jesuit-educated, Ivy League-educated young lawyer left that meeting, and I said to myself, wow, this is pretty basic. This is pretty much a rural school district. And we won 3 West Michigan championships in a row, and we made it to the Final Four of the state championship, and I, to this day, have a letter congratulating us from President Gerald R. Ford. All of which demonstrates that was a long time ago. And then in the 1980s, in the 1990s, Katie was here, and Meg was here, and Katie was on CNN and NBC after, as a member of your band, she was kicked out of the Bush rally. Last year, Sean, at the Obama rally, has a picture of himself with President Obama with his arm around him. he wasn't kicked out. And in this decade, when we should have moved away 8 years ago, my office is on the 60th floor of the Sears Tower in Chicago. Sean and Brendan, who say in the college essays that they wrote exactly the same thing that Katie said when she was interviewed when she graduated from this high school. I love to learn. To your credit, that they would come out of your school system with exactly the same